Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. I'm Carl here at carlstaceyguitartuiton, and thank you very much for taking the time to join me in this video here today. Today we're talking about this amazing little beast right here. I'm going to throw some, hopefully it goes well because I haven't really done much of the miking up stuff before. I always use cab sims and things like that. Amp sims when it comes to recording guitars for YouTube videos. But I'm going to try and do some actual tracking for this today, to do some demonstrations and things, because that's something I missed off my orange video as well, which I got some complaints about. So anyways, this Boss Katana Mini X right here, which came out a little while ago. I think it might have been the start of this year, end of last year, something like that. Maybe it's been around a year. Somewhere around a year, I believe. Should probably fact check that. But I really love this amp. I had previously owned this for a number of years, this Boss Katana Mini right here. It's like, you know what I mean, it looks cheap. It looks like a little lunchbox you might carry to school as a kid. It's an actual beast, like it's insane, especially considering this one uses batteries and or obviously DC in, but I always just opted for batteries because it was just easier and quicker for me personally, more portable, that sort of thing. And this amp did me really well in terms of practice amps at home. Of course, I have my orange that I use on stage, on in practices and things like that, which is the best, and I'll always use that for that. But when I'm practicing at home, when I'm recording songs, when I'm doing videos, whatever the case may be, I'll either be using Cubase with an amp sim, or I'll be using this thing right here. Previously this thing right here. So yeah, I have a lot of positive things to say about the Boss Katana series, to be honest. I've never really owned any of the bigger stuff, the bigger options, the bigger combos, things like that. I know there's several different iterations and combos within the world of the Boss Katana stuff. Some of my students have some of the combos and things like that. As far as I'm concerned, is if I've had a good experience with these mini ones, then surely the bigger ones and the different iterations of the series are also just as good, if not better. But this Boss Katana Mini X here today has changed my life, honestly. Like, it's the same setup, obviously, as the previous one that I keep talking about coming back to here. Same kind of dials and knobs on the front here for the most part. Like, both of them have the clean, crunch, and brown tone. Both of them have, obviously, gain, volume, bass, treble, middle, that sort of stuff. The previous iteration, of course, only has the one delay with the time and level of the delay built into it, whereas this new iteration has many other effects built into it, like chorus, phase, trem, wah, synth, spring delay, reverb, delay, and reverb, stuff like that. I'll be honest, I tend to just use the delay and reverb pretty much at all times when I'm using this, because most of the time I use it for improvisation and stuff like that. So it just works really well, sounds really nice, sounds really pleasant with the reverb and delay on it all times pretty much. What makes this one different though is you've now got this variation button right here. If I'm being honest with you, I don't know completely 100,000% what the difference of that stuff is. I might have to fact check that myself as well. But when I play this at home, I have the settings that I use is just past sort of 12 o'clock on the gain, the brown tone, and I have the variation activated, the light red comes on. And then bass, middle, and treble, pretty much 12 o'clock or just under or just past 12 o'clock. This setting I have off, and this one I have on reverb and delay, as I mentioned before. This has a built-in tuner, which is different to the previous, which I haven't really used all that much. I don't really feel the need to a lot of the time. I have other means of tuning and things like that, but it is really handy if and where needs be, of course. Headphones in here, of course, which is also super handy. I found myself doing that a couple of times if it's like later on the evening and things like that, and I just want to obviously have a little bit more of a chilled, kind of isolated practice to myself without having to worry about extra noise and bleed of noise and things like that. The greatest thing that I find about this is the fact that it is a little bit bigger, it's a little bit more powerful, so it's a little bit louder, which is super handy. The speakers themselves carry a whole lot more weight to them than the previous. Like I said, comparing to this one right here, a whole lot more bass going on, a whole lot more professional sounding. I always found that the small Boss Katana Mini was super professional sounding tonally for the size of it and the wattage of it, which is somewhere around 7 watts, something like that, I believe. This is somewhere around 10 or 15, I believe. And it just, yeah, the speakers in general, like I play... So on to the next point, the life-changing aspect of this is the fact that it's Bluetooth, whereas the previous was aux cable, which has got a little bit irritating at times, as you can probably imagine. So I find myself many times popping on backing tracks, Bluetooth, and just jamming along. So easy, so quick to just plug in and play, turn on and go. Really appreciate that, really love that. And I find kind of the combination of that, plus all the settings, plus the better, like I say, better weight of the speaker. So when you're playing song, I find myself quite often just playing music through this a lot of the time now as well, just as like a generalized speaker. I practice kind of electronic drum kit here at the studio, and I tend to use this as a speaker to practice along to as well. And also like a studio reference for mixing masters from a band that I'm currently getting doing as well. It's really helpful for that stuff too. But also the life-changing part is the fact that you can now charge it like a phone. So you can just charge this to full battery and it lasts so much significantly longer than just using old-fashioned batteries on the previous iteration that I keep coming back to. I found myself spending countless amounts of money on batteries for that. Silly me, probably should have just bought the DC input for it and just rolled with plugging it in and whatever. That is sheer laziness on my behalf, I'll be completely honest about that. But the fact that I can just charge this like a phone now and not have to worry about anything for a good portion of time is super helpful, super helpful. So it's just like I find my life so much easier and so much better with this one, portability wise. I can carry it here and bring it to the studio if I need it. Carry it around the house, headphones in, headphones out. If I need a tuner, it's there. Full charge and it lasts a number of days, don't have to worry about it. Still got the same sort of options of tones and sounds, if not way more now as well. And like I say, the fact that it's more powerful and better sounding overall is just a benefit and a plus as well. So I genuinely really love this. It's like my go-to and has been for a long time for practicing and jamming and just trying to ease of play more than anything, right? And I would super recommend this to anyone. I'd recommend this to all of my students for all exact same reasons that I've mentioned in this video right here as well. And I'm just super happy with this version. Took me a while to upgrade from this one. This was super helpful when I had it, and I'll still use it from time to time if and where I need to be, but this is a huge improvement that I recommend to anyone that's interested in the Boss Katana series or is looking for a really good, easy to use, fast plug in and play practice amp that's going to give you the tones and the sounds that you probably want and that you're after for punk and metal and everything adjacent to that. I would dare go as far to say as well that you could also busk with this, to be honest with you, because I find myself on the volume having it quite low and it's still quite loud enough for in-house use. I haven't pumped it or pushed it too much. I might for this video today, but honestly I would dare to say that two options, if ever needs be, if needs must, you could play in a practice with a live drummer, mic this up and it'll probably be perfectly fine to do the job. Same with the busking situation. If you're not in too busy of a space or area or something like that, this would probably do the trick in terms of playing your backing tracks and jamming through it at the same time. And like I say, you get plenty of charge out of it, so you'd probably get a good sort of full day busking, if not more, out of this on a full charge as well. So it's really awesome, really love it. I really think you should check them out if you're interested. Yeah, I'm just genuinely, I like doing videos like this about products that I enjoy, that I find use of, and that I like talking about. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you like me talking about and ranting about this stuff. Thank you very much for tuning in once again, and I'll see you in the next video.